Helping other people develops your leadership skills. The people start to see you as a natural leader. All of the things in arts education gives a young person enhance leadership skills and help raise grades. In order to cultivate a set of leaders with legitimacy in the eyes of the citizenry, it is necessary that the path to leadership be visibly open to talented and qualified individuals of every race and ethnicity. A leader is best when people barely know he exists. When his work is done, his aim fulfilled, they will say we did it ourselves. I think a captain is someone who captains on the cricket field, but most of the leadership that happens is off the cricket field. It's very easy to captain people on the cricket field, but if you can start leading them off the cricket field and show them that trust what you have in them. We in the press, by our power, can actually undermine leadership. Most people associate command and control leadership with the military. Leadership is hard to train on. Overall, the challenge of leadership is both moral and one of developing the characteristics that make us respected by one another. One of the sad truths about leadership is that the higher up the ladder you travel, the less you know. I think you need to be intentional at some times about your leadership, where you're eating lunch, who you are interacting with, making guys feel like you are interested in what they're doing. If it's authentic, then it's going to be an easy conversation and easy hangout time. One secret of leadership is that the mind of a leader never turns off. Leaders, when even they are sightseers or spectators, are active, not passive observer. Leadership is about having the courage to go against the advice of the so-called experts and doing what your instinct tells you is right. I think to be a great quarterback, you have to have a great leadership, great attention to detail, and a relentless competitive nature. And that's what I try to bring to the table. And I have to go a long way. I'm still learning and I'm still on a constant quest for knowledge. If an artist is driven primarily by social responsibility, I think the art probably suffers because, again, just as leadership has a rather defined endpoint or purpose, social responsibility would seem to have a very clear moral context. The leader is one who mobilizes others toward a goal, shared by both leaders and followers. Leaders, followers, and goals make up the three equally necessary supports for leadership. Leadership is an intense journey into yourself. You can use your own style to get anything done. It's about being self-aware. Every morning, I look in the mirror and say, I could have done 3 things better yesterday. Uncertainty is a permanent part of the leadership landscape. It never goes away. 。 There are some members of the House leadership whose only mission in life is to demonize the president. Leadership cannot just go along to get along. Leadership must meet the moral challenge of the day. Not everybody is created equal, and it's important for companies to identify those high potentials and treat them differently, accelerate their development, and pay them more. That process is so incredibly important to developing first-class leadership in a company. Leadership is so defined by men, and we need to revise that. We need to be able to say that the people we honor are not the conquerors, but the peacemakers. We must recognize that as the dominant power in the world, we have a special responsibility. In addition to protecting our national interests, we must take the leadership in protecting the common interests of humanity. Leadership is not a quantitative thing. People either smell it in you or they don't. Leadership in today's world requires far more than a large stock of gunboats and a hard fist at the conference table. It is very important in a leadership role not to place your ego at the foreground and not to judge everything in relationship to how far your ego is fed. Because management deals mostly with the status quo and leadership deals mostly with change, in the next century, we are going to have to try to become much more skilled at creating leaders. Leadership is an act of submission to God. To be a leader means listening to all kinds of people and situations. Out of that listening, we are hoping to discern the mind of God as best we can. This is the price of leadership. It's an act of sacrifice. So leadership is part and parcel of the work of submission to God. Taking on a leadership role does not mean that you only have to be personally ambitious. To have long-term success as a coach or in any position of leadership, you have to be obsessed in some way. One of the most important things about leadership is that you have to have the kind of humility that will allow you to be coached. Lead yourself whenever your boss leadership deteriorates. When your boss does not praise what you do, praise yourself. When your boss does not make you big, make yourself big. Remember, if you have done your best, failure does not count. Leadership is the capacity to translate vision into reality. There are times when leadership needs to take a bold move forward, and there are times when the leadership needs to act on the basis of what the grassroots say. You need to have your political thermometer constantly in the political waters to know when to give leadership in what way.